Good evening all. So in the last class we have discussed in detail about the cascade control system with an example of CSTR, and finally we have concluded with a general block diagram of cascade control system. Just will do a small review about the previous class and we'll proceed to this class where we are going to discuss about the some cascade control system with other examples, brief explanation, and we are going to conclude this class with some remarks of this cascade control system. Okay. So as we have discussed that this is a CSTR, it's called a continuous stirred tank reactor, where it is a exothermic reaction which generates some amount of heat. So the basic objective of this control is of this process is to control the temperature of the reactor, or product temperature should be controlled at our desired set point. So for this here, for better control, we are using the cascade control, where it is having two controllers. One is primary controller, in this case it is temperature controller. Another one is the secondary controller, in this case it is the flow controller. Actually it is not TC, it is FC, flow controller. In the primary process, the temperature which is to be controlled is measured and that is transmitted to the temperature controller, where this temperature is compared with the set point which is provided by the operator, and depending upon the deviation or comparison between these two, the controller will provide a signal. So here the signal acting as the set point for the secondary controller, where the secondary controller in the secondary process measures the coolant temperature, which we are not interested to control. Not at all, we are not going to control coolant temperature, but this coolant temperature is having effect on the product temperature, reactor temperature. So this reactor temperature is compared with the output of the primary controller, and depending upon deviation, it provides a control signal such that it manipulates the coolant flow rate. So by manipulating or by changing the coolant flow rate, the heat produced in the CSTR or product temperature will be removed and controlled to our desired set point. So in the conclusion, just we have prepared a general schematic representation of cascade control, in which we are having two process 1 and process 2. Process 1 is also called as primary process. Process 2 is also called as secondary process. So just we'll have a little bit comparison between this general representation with CSTR. In this case, process 1 or the primary process or primary loop that measures the T, that is the control variable which is the dominant, and this primary loop uses the set point supplied by the operator, while the loop that measures the coolant temperature uses the output of primary controller as its set point, and it is called as secondary controller. So generally the control cascade control configuration uses two loops, that is primary loop and secondary loop. So the control configuration with these two loops is known as cascade control, and it is very commonly used in chemical process. So if we consider the process consisting of two parts, process 1 or primary process as its output, that we are not that we want to control, whereas process 2 as an output that we are not interested in controlling, but which affects the output we want to control. So from the CSTR system, process 1 is the reaction in the tank, and the control output is the temperature T. Process 2 is the jacket, and its output is Tc affects the process 1 or reactor and subsequently capital T, that is the product temperature. So this is a block diagram of cascade control system. So the loop which contains the process 1 and measuring device and primary control is nothing but primary loop, and the secondary loop. The secondary loop is also a part of primary loop, and the secondary loop is having some process 2 whose output is measured and compared with the output of primary controller, and secondary controller produce some output signal or control signal. So if you observe the block diagram, here we are having set point which is provided by the operator, next primary controller, next again a comparator, then secondary controller, process 2, after that some disturbances, next process 1, and the process 1 produce the output. That is a control variable. Okay, so the control variable, the process 1 output, that is the control variable which we want to control, is measured and compared with the set point, and depending upon deviation, primary controller will provide some necessary control signal. So that control signal is acting as the set point for the secondary controller, and where here we are having the process 2. In case of CSTR, that is the jacket. The jacket output, that is the coolant temperature output, is measured, that is compared. Depending upon the deviation, the secondary controller, that is the flow controller, will provide the required changes in the jacket by changing or by manipulating the coolant flow rate. So like this, we are going to effectively control a variable in a process by using this cascade control. So this is having perfect control compared to normal or conventional feedback control. So if you observe this cascade control of a CSTR, the secondary controller is a flow controller and the primary controller is the temperature controller. Now we will observe some examples of cascade control for various other processes. Say first we will see, I am not going to discuss about in detail about the process, just we are going to concentrate on the what is the actual cascade control process. Here also this is a process called heat exchanger, where our control objective is to keep the exit temperature of the steam 2. This is steam 1 and this is steam 2. The control objective is to keep the exit temperature of the steam 2 at a desired value. So as the main control variable is the temperature, so that is measured and that is compared with the set point which is provided by the operator, and both are compared in the primary controller which is the temperature controller. And generally this temperature of the steam 2 is depending upon the flow rate of the steam 1. So that's why we are taking the steam flow rate as a secondary variable, and the effect of changes in the secondary variable of flow rate of steam 1 before the effect of this steam flow rate has been felt by this temperature process, we are going to take the necessary action by using the secondary controller, and that provide the required changes in the steam 1 flow rate. So that's why in the secondary process the flow of the steam 1 is measured and that is compared with the output of the primary controller, and this flow controller which is called as secondary controller will provide the required changes in the steam flow, and finally we are going to get the required temperature at our desired value. Now we'll consider some another example. So that is a distillation column. Here we are going to have the two different diagrams. Here our aim is to regulate the temperature at the top or bottom of the distillation column. In both the cases, the secondary loop is used to compensate for flow rate changes. So assume that here also the distillation column, our aim is to control the temperature of this distillation column, and assume that one of the main disturbance that is having effect on this temperature is flow rate of the distillation product. So that's why here in this cascade control, the primary controller compares the temperature which is to be controlled, and that is compared with the set point provided by the operator, and then there is a secondary process that can measures the output distillate product flow rate, and that is compared with the set point provided by the primary controller, and according to the deviation that provide the changes in the flow rate. So here also you can observe the primary controller is the temperature controller, secondary controller is the flow controller. In the similar way, for this diagram also, primary controller is the temperature, secondary controller is the steam flow controller. And if you observe another furnace process, here also the main aim is to regulate the temperature of the process steam. So the primary loop measures the temperature of this process steam or output product which is exiting from a furnace, and that is given to the temperature controller. Is here for ease of diagram has omitted the set point actually. So here the secondary process we are taking as a fuel flow rate. For getting the furnace process we require some fuel also. So the process output, the temperature is mainly depending upon the flow rate of the fuel. That's why here we are going to measure the fuel flow rate as a secondary variable, and this secondary controller compares the output of primary controller and this fuel flow rate, and depending upon deviation provide the required changes in the fuel flow rate, and accordingly the temperature will be controlled. So like this, if you observe all these three examples and also CSR example, in almost all the cases the secondary loop is used to compensate for flow rate changes, so that we can provide a statement by observing this quite common thing. In the chemical process, the flow rate control loops are almost always cascaded with other control loops. That may be cascaded with the temperature, or maybe cascaded with the flow, cascaded with the pressure or anything. But in almost all the cases, the secondary loop is going to compensate the flow rate change. So that is the about the cascade control system. And finally, we are going to conclude this cascade control system with some small remarks. So as we know that this cascade control system is having two controllers, one is primary controller and secondary controllers. These two controllers are standard feedback controllers only, that are proportional integral derivative controllers only. So which controller we have to use for primary and secondary controller? But generally it is better to use PID controller for both, but for the cost effect it is sufficient or it is enough to use proportional controller as a secondary loop. As we know that the disadvantage of proportional control is it is going to produce some offset error. But in this cascade control it is negligible. Why? Because if there is any offset produced by the proportional control and secondary control loop, that does not plays an important role, or it is not important. Why? Because we are not interested in controlling the output of secondary loop. Our main aim is to control the primary variable, so that if there is any offset produced in the secondary loop because of this proportional control, that is not that much important. And moreover, this may be covered or eliminated by using the PID controller in the primary controller. So that's why the proportional controller is used for secondary loop, whereas for primary controller PID controller is used. And we see some phase lag or delay constraints. For that, the dynamics of the secondary loop are much faster than those of the primary loop. Why? For example, if the phase lag or delay of the secondary loop is higher than the primary loop, in case of CSTR, even though you are providing you are giving the signal such that to provide the required changes in the coolant flow rate, but if the phase lag or delay of the system is very high, it will take more amount of time to compensate or to bring the control variability to our desired set point value. if the phase lag or delay of the system is more than the primary loop. So that's why in order to compensate for the changes, in order to have effective control, the phase lag or delay of the secondary loop must be less than the primary loop. So before the effect of the coolant temperature has been felt by the reactor, we have to provide the required changes. If the phase delay or lag is more, before providing the control, the effect of the changes in the coolant temperature may be provided to the coolant main temperature. It may deviate from the set point, so that if you want to take the control such that the effect of coolant temperature has not been felt by the process. So in order to get that one, the phase lag of the secondary loop will be less than of the primary loop. And coming to the tuning. So as we know that the tuning process, it is a process of adjusting the control parameter to get the optimum results, good results. For that, here we are having the primary and secondary controller. So generally both the controllers must be tuned, but we can use a simple step. Generally here the secondary loop must be tuned first by using any one of the tuning process which we have discussed in the previous chapter. That may be open loop transient response method, or Ziegler-Nicholas method, Cohen and Kuhn loop method, frequency response method, like that. The secondary controller must be tuned first before tuning can be done for primary controller. That means first we have to tune the secondary controller. After that, again we go for tuning of the primary controller by getting some parameters. So this is about the cascade control system. This is the second part of the cascade control system. In the next class we will go for the last multi-loop control system, that is a split range control.